Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Interactive English, which is a show slash English lesson that I have with one of the members of my group for high level English learners called the Achievers Chamber. And this time it's a brand new member. She's not that new. We have had her around. Has it been 2-3 months, Mireia?
2 months? 2 months? Yeah.
2 months. Her name is Mirella.
Yeah.
Mirella, which is difficult for a lot of people because in spelling you have double L, which is in Spanish we have to pronounce it as y. So Mirella.
Yeah, that's right. But many people call me Mirella, which is not right.
Of course. Is it always in Spanish when you have double L that it's y?
Yeah.
Is it always
Always.
like that?
Yeah, always.
But when
Paella,
paella, of course. And when there is
paella.
one L, it's L. Barcelona, right? Barcelona.
Barcelona, yes, it's only the L, the normal L.
But
But
but but,
Mirella.
but not Barcelona, but Barcelona, right?
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
We don't distinguish between the V and the V. It's a hard one. Barcelona. I don't know which is the right way.
Anyway, this is a channel for English learners, so we're not going to talk about Spanish here, even though this is something we have to clarify, because that's one of the best things about the group, in my opinion, and that's the fact that we have members from all over the place, from different parts of the world, and many viewers of this channel have already come across someone named Yolanda, who has been on this channel many times. But you are another Spanish member, is that correct? You are from Spain.
Yeah, I am from Spain, from Madrid.
From
Big
Madrid,
city.
from the capital.
Yeah, from the capital of Spain. Yeah, big city.
The next question I should ask you, as someone who loves football, is: do you support Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid?
Very typical. I used to support Real Madrid, but no anymore. It's been for many years now that I hate her, the president that we had. So I just changed. I don't support football anymore because I hate the president of Real
Uh,
Madrid.
the funny you should say that, because most people hate their president or prime minister or leader of their country, but you hate the president of your football club.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And also the other part as well. I hate people that
Course,
is not good or is not clear or they are just doing their business.
of course.
But yeah, when I grew up, I realized how bad it was, especially when you are from Madrid and you see all the business that
Yeah.
this guy have around money and all these bad
Corruption
things that
and
are doing,
yeah,
yeah, to the city.
shady stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Of course, I know some stories about Spanish football. So not always following the FFP. What's it called? FFP, the financial fair play rules, right? There have
Uh-huh.
been some
Do
there
not
have been some
disturb.
issues. I don't know if it was Barcelona or Real Madrid or both, but I think there have been some issues in the past. Yeah.
It's been Barcelona, especially Barcelona had
Yeah.
big issues with the money, with the president. Yeah, but I
Bec-
didn't follow at that time either. So
yeah.
whatever.
That's what they had to sell Lionel Messi. I think this was one of the reasons. Yeah.
It could be, yeah, because they didn't have money. Oh my goodness, it's crazy.
Mireia,
Football is
I, I
crazy.
think I think you didn't expect us to start talking about football on this channel, but to be honest, you have to be ready for that as well, because part of what I do as a teacher is I like to, of course, talk about football, and on this channel I have done it a few times. But don't worry. In the Achievers Chamber, there is only one weekly football event, and I know that you have never joined it, so joined the other events, not this one.
Yeah, I won.
Okay,
No
okay.
football.
So Mireia, so you're from Spain, but that's not the end of story. There is more. There is
There
more,
is
ladies and
football.
gentlemen, and it's pretty juicy. And if you have seen the thumbnail, you may have guessed it from that. So there are two flags in the thumbnail. Well, there is you and me as well.
Uh-huh.
Wonderful images, yeah. and you're drinking some coffee there or something. What is that?
No, no, no coffee. Oh, no coffee.
No,
This
no,
is
no, no. In the image you sent me.
in the image. It's a
Yeah.
cocktail.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
It's a cocktail, but
Yeah.
there are also I also put two flags there. One is Spanish, and the other one, the background flag, is
Right.
actually. Would you like to let Would you like to let the cat out of the bag?
Is Scotland
Mm.
or the UK? I don't know. I haven't paid attention.
It's Scotland, yeah.
It's
Scottish
Scotland.
flag, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, the
So
Scottish. Yeah.
exactly. So why Scottish flag? What does it have to do with you, Mirella? Can you explain that, please?
Yeah, of course. Actually, I live in Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. I've been living here for almost 9 years now.
Oh my
Uh,
God, that's
yeah.
you're almost Scottish then.
Well, I feel pretty Scottish. Yeah, not because the accent, not because I can understand them every time, every second, but I tried. Yeah,
Of course.
almost, I feel quite Scottish actually. Yeah, I
I,
feel.
yeah. As an English teacher, I really appreciate the way you pronounced the capital city, which almost everybody's getting wrong.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Edinburgh, perfect pronunciation. It's not Edinburgh. It's not
No,
Edinburgh like everyone else thinks. Edinburgh. Yeah.
Edinburgh.
There are a
Actually,
lot.
people here hate people calling this Edinburgh because, well, I don't know why the burg, any burg, is called Bra, at least in Scotland, because there are other places about they call Bra.
But
I
I
don't
think I think maybe Scottish people they just like brass. I don't know.
know. It should be a story behind that, but I don't know either. Yeah.
Absolutely. But as we know, when it comes to place names in the UK, place names are notoriously difficult to pronounce, and there are really irregularities when it comes to spelling and sound correspondence.
Uh-huh.
So you have
100%.
uh, you may have seen there was a Kahoot live which I did recently. The topic was pronunciation, and one of the questions was about how we should pronounce one city, which is is it county, actually, not city, county in the UK, Worcestershire. Worcestershire. And it looks
I
like
even I Yeah,
sorry,
I did that question right, but I even cannot pronounce. I knew that it was three syllables, but I cannot pronounce this.
Worcestershire, even though the way it looks like, it looks as if you should be pronouncing it as Worcestershire.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they do every
So it's
second.
not, the same you have, of course, the famous Leicester Square, yeah, in London, and it looks like Leicester Square,
Uh-huh.
Leicester Square, but it's Leicester Square, and we could go on until the cows come home, but that's not what we are here for. we
Yeah.
would like to we would like to introduce you as a new member. This is something I like to do because not everyone, I should say this, not everyone is willing to participate in these YouTube lives, and I completely get it. People are introverted or shy, or they don't want to show their faces on camera because their boss could see it or something like that. So I understand. It's not compulsory, it's not mandatory, but I always appreciate if people come on because it helps me make this a regular thing. And of course, you get your feedback as well. This is one of the things I do. Members of the Achievers Chamber, they get regular feedback from me in a form of a private podcast. So this is a podcast that only people in the group will be able to listen to, including Mirella, and she will get more focus because I'm doing a YouTube live with her. So there's more about her English this time. There will be more about her English this time.
And it's also, I think it's quite interesting in my case, like Spanish living in UK for a long time now, is also,
Unique.
I would like to show the people how difficult it is to get English, like properly English, because sometimes I know that I pronounce something that is not right, or even I don't know the meaning of some words, many words. So it's quite a difficult language to speak fluently. and to know all the vocabulary. So here is the example how difficult it could be.
Absolutely, but I always appreciate that you do the, like, anyone that is willing and plucks up the courage to come on and talk to me here on YouTube live. Believe me, when I did this first time, I was also shy because there are people watching this live. There are people who are going to be judging me, right? Not so
Uh-huh.
much you, not so much you, because you are in the position of an English learner, yeah? But I
Uh-huh.
am an English teacher, and there might be other teachers listening to this and wondering what the hell I'm saying here, or how the hell I'm speaking, and what sort of mistakes I'm making. So you always put yourself out there. You always sort of put yourself in a vulnerable position, and I like this as a challenge. And of course, the more I do it, the more comfortable I get with it. So these days, I couldn't be bothered more any less, really, if people judge my English. This is what I do, and I like to basically link it with the activities I do with the Achievers Chamber, because I think it makes sense to show people what we do, and to give you guys an opportunity to, let's say, again, put yourself in a more vulnerable position, because I think that's when we grow the most as English learners, when we really get into these tough moments and we have to deal with it, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, before I joined the group Zdenek, I thought what I'm doing, because I'm already live in a English speaker country. What I'm doing is, it sounds crazy, or some people can think that I'm just crazy, but because
Yeah,
for me it's
of
difficult,
course.
right? I'm fine with
Don't
this.
worry, you're not alone. You're not alone. There are more of us there. So
Even if I'm alone, I really don't mind. It's just I really want to improve my English. And I know that my way to improve English is not being outside trying to survive. My
yeah,
It's just to try to study, to
focus.
have
Yeah,
to focus, to someone to correct me, because many, when you
yeah,
live here, they understand you and they
of
don't
course.
correct you
Yeah,
because
of
it's
course
very,
they.
very unpolite,
I
and
understand.
they
Yeah.
don't do it. So yeah, I'm in this kind of vulnerable position, but I'm fine with this. And the point, as you say, is like, I want to learn, and I'm here to learn. So
And
people
I
learn.
think it's the right fit for you as well, the group, because we have high level learners. Yeah, so B2,
Uh-huh.
C1, C2 level learners. I think this is our core group, basically. Yeah, so um we have Budgie watching. Budgie is my friend. He's an Englishman supporting West Ham United, a massive hammer, as we say, a hammer, a West Ham
Would you?
United fan. He has his own YouTube channel. His name is Budgie, or
Okay.
Clive. And he says, no judgment from me, Zdenek. I think it's a wonderful thing to learn English from a non-native teacher. Probably puts the learner at ease quickly. Hope you're well, buddy. I'm okay, thank you very much. Or was it? Or was Budgie referring to you? I think he was referring to me. But by the way, guys, feel free to post any kind of question for Mirella, especially for Mirella, because she's our guest today. If you want to ask about anything, because I think her story is fascinating. Yeah, 9 years living in Scotland. A Spanish woman, a Spaniard, as we say, a Spaniard is another way of saying that. And yeah, so I'm surprised, because Spanish I always associate it with wonderful weather and relaxed lifestyle. When I imagine Scotland, it's gonna be harsh weather, and the bit different, right? So the people as well is slightly different. So
Yeah, this is very, very different. And you see, when I was in Spain, I never realized how different it could be, a culture that is very close to you. Because when you travel to London or any typical place, okay, this
yeah,
is not very different. You know, the hours
yeah,
having dinner or having lunch is very different. Because especially in Spain, we have dinner and lunch very late compared with the rest of the Europe.
and siesta
But
as well. You have siesta too.
not many people have siesta in Spain, but
Okay, it's a
no,
stereotype
no,
then.
just the stereotype. Yeah, not many people.
Okay.
But when you live here, you see every day in your daily base how different is the culture. even when you are so close.
Um,
So I cannot imagine if you are farther away.
well,
It should be a
Mireia,
shock.
imagine someone from Europe living in Vietnam.
This is why I'm saying it. I
that
cannot
would
imagine.
that, that would be me. So I know what you mean. I can imagine that even as a Spanish person living in Scotland, it must be a bit of a culture shock when you move there.
It
So
is.
what?
It is.
Mm.
Yeah.
So can I ask? I'm really curious. What brought you there then? What brought you there?
A couple of things. I was working in Spain as a psychologist, and I got very bored. And the situation in Spain was just the crisis, the big crisis that it was 2000 between 2008,
Yeah.
2000 something. So I always, all my life, I hated English. All my life. I've never passed my exam. Seriously, it was something that oof, I every time that I heard something in English or any song in English, anything, I tried to avoid this because I hate it. I couldn't understand a thing. I didn't pass any exam. It was a thing that never could understood.
Yeah.
So could understand. So I wanted to move from Spain because it was the crisis. I was really burned out about psychologists. I felt at that moment that Madrid was very small in the sense that the world is huge, and I wanted to know new people, new cultures, something that some people or some countries that will give me more, I don't know, new feelings, new
Yeah.
adventures.
Yeah. Open your
So
broadens your horizons. Like open your mind a bit and
yeah,
get a,
yeah, yeah.
get a new perspective of life. And of course, you were obviously trying to escape your Real Madrid president as well, right?
Of course, and the president of the country and everyone. Yeah, it was
Wait,
everything
wait,
was
wait.
so good.
Hang on. Don't you have a king? Isn't there a king in Spain?
Yeah, we have a king and the president.
What?
We have
You have
both. Yeah,
what?
yeah. Why not? Why not
Is
spend
that
our
is that
money?
even is that even a thing? I always thought that you were either a republic or monarchy. Well,
We have a monarchy. We have the monarchy,
yeah.
but also we have the president of the country. So, and they usually are. They need to be in agreement. This is why, because the monarchy is very in the right side, and then the
Ah,
presidents usually
left wing.
are also. Hmm,
Yeah,
they
because
need
monarchy
to
is always
be agree.
conservative, right? It's always like that. Yeah.
It has
Mhm.
to be like that because otherwise, then
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. So yeah, I was tired of everything in general. So I was trying to convince by my partner for 2 years to move somewhere else. I wanted to speak English as a goal in my life, as an aim in my life. I wanted to speak English and to be able to travel and communicate with other people. So
Mhm.
this was the trigger was the job, the crisis, but I
Yeah.
always wanted to speak English as a as a goal in my life.
Well, I like it's a fascinating story. But one thing that really strikes me is the fact that you are a psychologist. So you have a degree in psychology. You have a degree in psychology. So you first started working as a psychologist in Spain before you moved to Scotland. So that's
Yeah.
interesting as well. So how does that sort of help you in making these big steps in life, because this is not easy. I've myself moved to England a few times. I've lived in London twice in my life,
Uh-huh.
and I went there a few times to work at summer camps as well. But
Uh-huh.
altogether, I would say I used to live in London for 3 years. Yeah, but every time it was tough to convince myself to do it at that time, right? So it was a big decision to make. I would procrastinate on making that final step, and but every time I did it, I felt so relieved and proud of myself. So I wonder, has it helped you, the fact that you're a psychologist, so you understand the human mind, presumably even your own? uh, does it help actually? Does it help you make that decision?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. I suppose when you have the degree, and especially not the degree per se, is when you have the experience working as a clinical psychologist for a few years, as I
Yeah,
had, you just live with your human behavior understanding. So I suppose it helped me somehow, like to do the biggest step.
yeah.
But it wasn't a decision that it was not like, okay, because I'm psychologist, I want to move on and I'll do it because blah blah blah. It
No,
was
but you know
like,
what I mean. Yeah, I always imagine a psychologist like I respect this profession, so I imagine someone really understands the human mind, and most of the time we have all these obstacles that we throw in front of ourselves, and we do it by ourselves, right? Nobody usually we always look for some external factors and excuses, but it's usually us. Like we have the power to change things, right? In the democratic world, we can do what the hell we want, more or less, yeah, within certain boundaries. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I mean. Like I can imagine you analyzing the situation and uh, making ticks somewhere and all that.
But because we moved with certain conditions, so it was Edinburgh because my partner found a job here. He is a
Yeah.
IT, he works in an IT world, so it was
Mhm.
easier for him to find a job. So we
Yeah.
wanted to come no in an adventure, totally adventure. We wanted to plan the
Yeah.
action.
Makes
So we
sense.
moved here, but I really didn't have reasons to stay in Spain. So for me, it was very easy. I think for him, it was the difficult one. It took me 2 years,
Yeah.
so actually, it was
So
a difficult one.
So you say your English wasn't that good when you came, right?
I
To
didn't speak English at all.
Oh
At
wow. So how so tell me about how it was for you at first, because first of all, the accent itself must be hard, right? Scottish accent is different from what you must have heard before. So how did you cope with all this?
It was a hard one. It was a very hard one. But I'm so glad we landed by Asa to Edinburgh because the Scottish people are very kind. It's nothing compared with if you go to London or the
Mm.
London per se. The city is quite hostile.
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 Yeah.
But Edinburgh is not like that at all. So probably if we were in any other place, probably I wanted to come back to Spain. But because
Yeah.
it was Edinburgh and Scottish people is amazing. But it was very, very hard, especially because I got pregnant. And then I did all my pregnancy and all the maternity leave and everything. I went to the hospital without not knowledge about what
Oh.
about
Was a Google Translate a thing back then, or it didn't exist yet?
It didn't exist, and they offer us to have a translator at the
Interpreter.
yeah, interpreter.
Mhm.
But we didn't want because we thought my husband thought that it was okay, like we can survive. So and it's not an extra person. We are when you are when you are
Wow.
introduced to everything. But I couldn't understand. I don't know. Let's say 70% of the things that they were
Mhm.
telling me.
Well, if when they told you it's a boy or it's a girl, did you know?
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah, yeah. I could understand that, and that's it. Probably
So that,
that's
I guess that's the most important thing. Yeah.
it. But it was very difficult.
Mm.
But anyway, because my husband was already working, uh, I was working in a charity shop. So I started for the first year when I got pregnant, and the first year I was in a charity shop, which is helped you a lot
Yeah.
because it's very typical, but to do a volunteering thing here
Yeah.
is a thing, and it's quite important because you are not paid, so you don't have the pressure. You don't feel the pressure of
Right. Right.
being.
Right. You still want to do your best, but it's maybe the best environment to sort of thrive and to develop fast without much pressure, and that's how you learned the basics, and you kept going, and now you speak like this. So
Yeah,
wonderful. By the way, Baji has written a nice message. He says, uh, I'm happy that you are that you're taking large steps to improve your English. Zdenek is the best person I know that can help you. I'm not sure about that, but thank you, Baji. Have you experienced London and the local accent? Well, Mireia says that the people in London are hostile, but
They are.
except except a few individuals such as Baji. Well, in my experience, I'm going to save this now. I would say that I understand why Mireia is saying this because uh, I have never lived anywhere else, only in Dublin and here in Da Nang in Vietnam. But it's true that there are a lot of ambitious people in London. Let's put it that way. A lot of ambitious people, a lot of foreigners, a lot of very successful people, people who think very highly of themselves. Yeah. And that's part of the reason why perhaps they don't always come across as friendly. Also, everyone is rushing to work to make a lot of money. So, yes, it may give you that impression. And I understand why Mireia is saying that. At the same time, I have to say, disclaimer, this is not true. There are a lot of friendly people. One of them is Baji here. And I cannot praise that experience of living in London enough, of course. Yeah. But I understand where you're coming from as well.
But I will say that it's the same for Madrid. Now, every time that I travel to
Yeah.
Madrid, I feel that how any big city, for me now, any big city where is 100 million of people trying to get somewhere or with rush because you spend so much time traveling between all the commute and everything. So it's not because London, it's just any big city.
Yeah.
Madrid,
No,
I feel
London is the example for all, right? It's the hub. It's the hub of the world. Let's say it's the melting pot. It's where everybody wants to go. It's where the most successful people want to go, right?
uh-huh.
The best people in their industry want to land a job there, and well, I was one of them. I always dreamt of becoming an English teacher and making it as an English teacher in London, and I did in the end. But it's not all easy there. It's the life your lifestyle. I mean, it's um the standard of living or the cost of living, let's say, it's very high, right? So it's not easy to live there as an English teacher, actually. So yeah, that was one of the reasons I had to go in the end. Also, COVID was another one.
Yeah.
But Baji says your English is very good. I think he doesn't mean mine. I think he means yours. I understand. I
Thank
understand
you.
you because I don't have a Spanish accent. That's why. I understand you perfectly, and the Spanish accent actually brightens the language. I agree. I think
Oh, that's very kind.
I
Thank you.
I love it. Like when I hear the little bit of Italian accent, Spanish accent, French accent, it makes it more interesting. It would be so boring if everybody had the same kind of accent, wouldn't it? So
Yeah,
yeah,
but I suppose that many people, I don't know, it happened to me at least when I started to learn English. I wanted to sound, let's say, perfect or correctly. I wanted to sound correctly, but now I'm embrace my accent because I'm never gonna be British accent because it's not my mother language. So I'm just embrace my accent, and it's like if you can understand me, all good. We are good.
I can,
So
and so can Baji. Baji,
yeah, thank you very much.
some Hammer, West Ham United fan from London, who doesn't happen to be hostile from my experience. So if
Yeah,
if someone
sorry if I
no,
was
I'm
outside
joking.
myself.
I'm pulling your leg. I'm pulling your leg only. It's just funny that the only person that happens to be talking to us in the chat is actually from London. It's
Yeah.
ironic. It's ironic. No, but we know with each other. We know each other very well with Baji because we have even met once. When I visited. Was it like 2 years ago, Baji? I think it was 2 years ago when I visited Baji, and not only him, but he showed me around the London Stadium. And we went even to a merchandise store where I bought a shirt, a West Ham United shirt. So yeah. So
All good.
good. Yeah. Okay, Baji is responding to the fact that you said that London is hostile. He says, absolutely agree with Mireia. London is a hostile place. There are hostile people, but there are a large number of great people there. I'm lucky I live outside of London. Okay, I got it. I actually got it wrong. He lives. I think he lives somewhere on the outskirts or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Tell us, Baji, where exactly you live. But yeah, you're right. Somewhere in the south, I think you said, right? I think somewhere in the south. All right, Mireia, I think this is where we will leave it for today. Thank you very much for
Okay.
agreeing to be on for tonight.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. I also hope it's not the last time, because what I like to do is, of course, I want to give opportunity to everyone to be here, all of our members, but not everyone is ready or has time. So we take turns. We take turns.
Yeah, I'm happy for that. Thank you for inviting me.
Anytime. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Don't forget that one of your duties as a viewer and a subscriber to Teachers Zdenek, to the Teachers Zdenek YouTube channel, is to smash the like button. If you haven't done it yet, what have you been doing? Anyway, I guess that's where we will leave it. Thank you very much for watching and listening. And if you want to know more about the Achievers Chamber, it's in the description of this video. Thanks, Mireia. Take care
Thank
and
you. Thank you.
have
Take care.
have a good day. Bye bye.